Smiling, honey. Blocking, banning, and smiling. Go on. Blocking, banning, and smiling, hon. Hey, Alice, how you doing? How are you? Oh, you're a Bible thumper, huh? You might want to talk to Jesus about all these poor people that are addicted, can't seem to get out of the rat hole. Have Jesus intervene. Block and ban and smile and love and life. Hey, Deborah, how you doing? I'm gonna go down by the lake, let Daisy swim. I'm going to reminisce about when I knew sane people. It's kind of humid today. Daisy is my captain. Yeah, Tom, yeah. Locking, banning, smiling, loving life. Yeah, I mean, I try to help people. I mean, there's no smoking guns anywhere. I really do. I'll tell you what I'm going to quit doing. I'm not meeting anymore from YouTube, getting to know them, emailing, texting them. Not happening. That's a final straw right there. They got a question, I'll answer it. But as far as them having my phone number and getting a hold of me, not doing it. And it's easy to figure out, and I've just ignored it before because I knew some of these people were lonely. No good deed goes unpunished. Yeah, I'm glad I recorded all this. There's a lot more that I have too. Now these videos and these crazy comments, these nut jobs or trouble they're making for me is see ending because they know what I have on them. It's unfortunate it had to come to this, but I thought I took the high road, just distanced myself, took down their videos, don't have anything to do with them, and that didn't work. So seems to be way more effective. Oh, hey Mustang Jane. Swim, hon. Girl. Calls. Read the law, you. I can't make it any simpler. I'll record yours too if you call. You won't do anything about it but listen to it later on when you stalk me. You got that? Evidently you can't decipher simple legal lingo, or you'd know that it's totally legal. It must be tough getting through life being this stupid. That makes sense to you now? I mean, is a light bulb coming on? Are you getting this at all? Do you understand the difference between two-party and one-party consent, or do I need to get a third grade teacher to tutor you? Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense to you? Is this sinking in? Does that make sense why I didn't do something that isn't required? Hello? It's making sense? Good girl, hon. The birds are singing today. Yeah, it's nice. It's a nice lake. It's like the old days. What I like about it is it hasn't changed over the years. It's the same as it was when I first started coming up here like 50 years ago. I don't cause the drama at all. What I do is I protect what's being said about me by giving people a glimpse at how nuts these people are. That's not drama, it's the truth. There's a bunch of people out there, had they not heard that phone call, they think it's just a sweet, nice, innocent person that I decided to be mean to. Not at all. So now look up drama too. I don't think you understand that very well, and which would make me believe that you really don't understand enabling either. I mean, just having a conversation like you must seem like it's never going to end. I mean, I'd love to have someone that I could discuss the legalese of consent, but I'm sure that's not going to be you. Seems like the old elevator isn't going to the top. It's not drama at all. Sorry you don't see the difference. Hey Jennifer, how's your day going today? Yeah, thank you. It just gets aggravating. I mean, there's so many of these crazies on YouTube. There really are. I mean, YouTube, the good outweighs the bad, but it's like anything, it doesn't seem to when the wheels come off in an incident like this. I give so because I know how the world works, and I was tipped off with some of these crazies right from the very beginning. So I recorded everything with everybody just in case I needed it. As I said last night, if you're having a hard time in life and I try and help you and you tell me something in confidence, I would never in a million years upload that conversation. But when you're trying to make me look like a murderer and a bad guy and a liar, it's time for people to understand what the real you is. And if I have to do it through a conversation that was recorded for people to hear, I will. Don't blame me, blame them. Those are not normal conversations. Yeah, I hate the hate too, Jennifer. I'm the same way. Man, when I was growing up, like we get a 90-degree day every 10 years. Now it's all summer long. I'll tell you another silver lining in this last few days is that people are emailing me that have had problems with some of the players in this equation of trying to cause me issues. And it's pretty damn interesting what evidence they have. I guess that shouldn't be any surprise. I don't think someone turns into a stalker overnight. I think this is a personality that develops over time. But the one thing that's kind of surprising to me is how many people are aware of these people out there. And they must have just silently watched them over months. And then when these incidents happened, they decided to contact me and say, hey, I know what you're going through. Really, you're lucky down there. I'm the same way. I'd rather have snow. Today now, the humidity is the big one. Like today is going to be cooler than yesterday, but I can tell right now it's already super hot, and it's because of the humidity. Come on, hon. You want to party? That's why I've got an Astrovan to... Good girl, hon. Atta girl. Good girl, honey. Oh, I'd send it to you. No, I don't like it, Amber. How you doing? You're actually warmer than we are most of the time down there in Cincinnati. It's a noticeable difference. I'll tell you where you can notice weather. At least going north-south in the United States. About every 270 miles, you'll notice a subtle difference. Go ahead. Hey, Philip. No, I don't like it. I like the cold better. It is a really hot one today. Philip, you ever hear from Oxycontin Cat anymore? Oh, I believe it, Amber. Yeah, finally she just went away. I got all her conversations recorded too, but she's kept her big mouth shut, so I haven't had to upload any. Oh, is she out of state? I don't know. Believe me, I avoid her like the plague. I don't know. I never check on her. I could care less. That was another moderator mistake. It's none of your business, Louie. She's a grown adult. I'm not responsible for their behavior. You don't know a fraction what I went through with her, so mind your own business. I didn't push anybody anywhere. I put out the truth and what they're like behind closed doors. And if you don't like it, you can cram it. Not my problem. You make one more comment like that and you know what's happening, don't you, Louie? I can see where you're coming from, and I don't think it's going to work for you over here. So you make one more comment like that, and you're going on the list of almost 7,000 blocked people that I want nothing to do with. So there goes the theory of subscribers and views. Not important. I'm lucky. Hey, Mary. Oh, yeah, I'd say you missed something. You need to go back the last couple days. I hope you get cooler weather than this when you come up to Detroit. Man, if you had to move on a day like today. This camera is so terrible on this phone. Yeah, see you later, Louie. That's none of your business. That's a nice fake channel you have. You know, get lost and don't come back. Oh, that a girl, Amber. Okay. Yeah, you're probably better off. Yeah, Lake George. It's a really nice little lake. These lakes are all over up here. Good fishing, camping. This is the only, well, there's actually public access here and across the street at that campground. It's a really nice little lake. Hey, Shonda. There's two Lake Georges. There's another one about an hour from here, down near Farwell. I don't know why you'd have the same name in two states, but they do. It's like that today here. It's really hot, really humid. I see there's some thunderstorm clouds building on the other side of the lake. Yeah, it's really nice. Hey, Jet Dude, how you doing? Yeah, I know. I used to have I had some really nice photo albums of Lake George in New York. Look at these people going the wrong way. Yeah, thanks, Buttercup. Yeah, it's getting better, and only because I had a rebuttal to their craziness. Yeah, that's right, Deborah. Yep, you're right. These people are really weird. The women all kind of fit a profile. You know how the FBI profiles people when they're looking for some crazy. I could do that on YouTube. I can explain. I'll give you the profile. It's women that are anywhere from 30 to 60. They're not very attractive. Most of them are overweight. They're constantly joining dating services. They can't hold jobs. A lot of them live with their parents. Most of them depend on their parents' income even to adult life. Relationships don't work out with them. Their neighbors don't care for them. And those are the kind that latch on to anybody, anywhere, for any reason. Everything is drama, a problem, some conflict, yelling. I think it's worse than that, though, Buttercup. I think it's worse than Lonely Heart Cups. They're. It's almost like it's a setup to not have an interest in them that they know is only a matter of time. And when you tell them to don't text or don't call, uh, that seems to be the thing that ignites the constant harassment. I think it's way more complicated. Lonely is easy to explain. You know somebody, they're lonely, they kind of, don't have a job where they interact with people, they live in a place where the age difference is too great. That's explainable. Hey, I know Johnny, he's a little lonely, he lives out in the middle of the woods, he doesn't work. But this is lonely is not a fair description of the people that we're talking about. This is lonely, nutty, and stalking. Big difference. I think abandonment issuance is, I think it's too, that's being too kind. I think that's like something would be a answer on like a freshman year psychology test. Look, there's relationships that don't work out. Okay. It doesn't turn you into one of these people. I don't agree with that. This is a whole another level of uh, mental health that makes abandonment look okay. I mean, when do you finally get over something? When you're 20, when you're 30, when you're 40? When do you cope with it better? Yeah, I don't really get it. I don't know. It's not even that. I mean, you just cannot win with these people. That's why it's like everything, right? A forest fire sucks. You don't want to go to vacation there anymore. It's going to take 40 years for it to look like it did before it was burned down. But it helps start new trees, all young life. There's a silver lining to anything. And there's a silver lining to this in that I'm not meeting anybody from YouTube anymore. This is it. Not happening. Not doing it. You know, even after this latest catastrophe, you know, and believe me, I'm sympathetic to mental health issues. I've had my own, but being depressed is different, angry, and a stalker. Yeah, both mental health issues. That's true, but much different in how they express themselves. Not doing it anymore. Yeah, I think it's a risk. It's just, I do think it's a low risk. But when you got people showing up in your house from 320 miles away, uninvited, these women are after you. Look, I didn't think that in this case. I don't think it had anything to do with being attracted to me. I think it had everything to do with being a lunatic. So you misinterpreted that 100%. This is all alfalfa hay growing. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the net result, though, it's still better. I mean, I don't claim that I really do anything that great, but there's still plenty of people out there that have been helped that it worked out. It's better news than bad news. So, you know, it's just this stuff seems to garner more attention. So, like I said, silver lining. I don't want anything sent to me. I don't want any donations. I don't want anything like that. I'm not telling you how to get a hold of people. Chaps, PayPal, those days are over. AKF, not happening anymore. Yeah, I'm the same way. Don't feel bad. Oh yeah, it's crazy. But it's this these I'm not going to have these problems down the road. Not happening. Another thing you haven't seen, and I'll use, is my texts and my emails from these people. I'll upload those too if I have to. No, you can't. Nope, sure can't. I'm sure there are people that didn't have the evidence that I had. That got in trouble over made up bullshit. And they didn't have anything to refute it. If I didn't have these text, emails, and other thing, phone conversations, I could be in big trouble. If I hadn't done PI work, I realize how things can go south, which is why I covered my ass with every one of those people. Just like I said earlier, Buttercup, if you had problems and I was trying to help you, and you told me things in confidence, I wouldn't upload that stuff in a million years. That's not what this is. It's not what this is at all. Believe me, I take people's confidence seriously in me. I would never do that. But when when it's one video after another, or what I'm doing, and that I'm a murderer and stuff, that's what you're gonna get. And I'll upload them all as the days go by, until I look out on the internet and I don't see any negative comments about me from these kooks. I think it helped, Kaya. Yeah. I did too. Yeah, and it isn't like I had, what you see is what you get. It's not like there's any ulterior motive with me. I'm not trying to know any of these people intimately or any of that kind of bullshit. So it's not like I'm, laying a snake in the grass waiting for an opportunity to come up. I just barely put up with them to begin with. Yeah, it does kind of seem like that. I mean, it does kind of seem like that, because if you looked at all her comments on videos and stuff, where I got hooked on this one is when she was talking about problems with depression, because I've had those. But from now on, somebody just texted me the other day that's on the channel. You know who it is. I'm not going to say it because it's private, but she's having a hard time coping, doesn't know, if she can hang in there. Well, you know what? Up until this latest fiasco, what can I do to help you? I mean, Dolly, I drove down there to try to help her. It's a 650-mile trip in a day. Brought her some cheese, and look what happened. So when I get a text like that now, or an email or a voice message, you know what my response is? Nothing. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I wish the best for them, but I'm not getting roped in to a scenario like that ever again. It's not happening. But if you listen to those conversations, and I got tons of them more, and you look at how she acted before that happened, blackmail is definitely a possibility. I'm not giving anybody the opportunity anymore. Hey, Indigo Blue. The origin of the channel name is a joke. As you can tell, it's spelled one, W-O-N, which is like winning a race. When you're talking about chosen one, Jesus, it's O-N-E. It's the difference between a salted peanut and a filet mignon. And most people know that. So when YouTube came out, you had to get a Gmail address, which I didn't have. So I got that. Then they wanted everybody to have a channel name. And I just got done watching a documentary on LeBron James. You know how you type in the things, see if the name's available, and that kind of came up, and I thought, why not? I didn't give a shit. I mean, it could have been spoiled carrots or expired green peas. It didn't matter to me, because I never, ever planned on, starting a channel that other people would watch. I mean, I knew that was a possibility, but it wasn't a goal. It still isn't. So that's how it happened. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Maddie thing, I mean, look, I don't want to, like, hold off on any parade for me or man of the year. But, and I don't think I'm a better person for doing this. But I've gotten to know Maddie and Gerald. I've tried to, like, send them on their own way, get their own channel going, which they've done. But no matter what Maddie and Gerald do, I like them both, and I'm not going to backstab them. And I'm not going to have a relationship with anybody, whether it's Tassie, Becky, Maddie, and Gerald, where you're going to go on and you're going to title videos making fun of them, talking about their looks, talking about him being a peep. It's not happening. Not doing it. I'm not saying I'm a great guy for being that way, but I can see through that bullshit, and they're in a tough part of a human existence. I wish the best for them. I really do. I don't think it's great odds, but miracles happen all the time. But if you think you're going to be coming on my channel and you're going to be talking bad about them and referencing how Maddie doesn't look like she used to, you're gone. And I think I articulated that pretty well in that phone conversation. It's embarrassing to be stupid and ignorant enough to pick a psychotic loon like that to be a moderator on my channel. It shows you how dumb I can be. So I'm not doing that anymore either. You're not going to see any new moderators. I got the ones I have, which I'm grateful for, but sticking my neck on a chopping block and having a relationship with a lunatic like this is not going to happen anymore. They're not going to get their foot in the door. Not happening. Yeah, I mean, Frisky understands it. I mean, I just don't have such a short fuse with ignorant people. And if you're a hostile, ignorant, stupid motherfucker, you're going to look at Maddie and Gerald in an unfavorable light because your brain doesn't work right. You don't empathize. You can't differentiate the difference between someone that's on drugs and someone that isn't. You look at it as good or bad, and you're not privy to the odd chemistry that keeps people there. And for all you people that think that way, get the hell out of here. Yeah, fuck, no way. By the way, Buttercup, now that you're on here and we're talking about this, I'm going to tell you this. Because, like I said, there's no smoking gun in my closet. You're not going to find any weird shit. And I've made comments about heavy women. I have. And my comments have been, I paid half of a gastro bypass surgery. Doesn't make me a good guy. Don't have a parade for me. And I am good friends with heavy set women. It's just from a romantic standpoint, it doesn't interest me. And I don't think I have to apologize for that. But that's not an issue anyway. I haven't had a girlfriend in 20 years, so it's not an issue anyway, no matter what size they come in. But here's my point. YouTube's a weird place, right? And you've been on the channel quite a while. And I knew you were heavy set. And I'll tell you why I knew. Because somebody sent a picture of you off your Facebook profile. At the time, you were using your real name. And you had your real pictures on there. And they sent it to me. It's like, hey, I just thought you might want to see what, Buttercup. It's like, I don't really care, man. I mean, it's really weird you do that. I don't really care what Buttercup looks like. So here's my point. When I was down around Memphis, you had an interest in Sun Records. I didn't even plan on going to Memphis. I've been there a million times. It's a pain in the ass to get in. So the only reason I went there is because I knew you wanted some memorabilia from the studio, which I went and got and mailed to you, which I was happy to do. Really, I was. If you like that and I happen to be down there, good for you. It's like no big deal. But the point here is, for all the people out there that want to ride my ass about comments that I've made regarding women in their weight, I knew exactly what you looked like, and it didn't bother me a bit. I was glad to send you something nice. And now that it's water over the dam, I didn't want to go there to begin with. Yeah, yep. Yeah, I mean, big deal. I do that for stuff people all the time. That another psycho that I sent refrigerator magnets to when I was out in South Dakota turned out to be another lunatic that goes on and drives people nuts with their comments on YouTube. That all started out with sending her refrigerator magnets. So I'm not doing that anymore either. because that's how they get their foot in the door. Elaine, she comes in and she finds somebody that's on the channel and they got a baby and they're struggling, and before you know it, the mittens come in the mail and the little footies come in the mail, and you get some makeup, and she wants to come out and hang out with you, and you're thinking, God, here I am. I'm in northern Michigan, life could be doing better, and here's someone that's opening their life to me and sending me nice things. Who wouldn't that be attractive to? Well, I'll tell you one thing. She just pled guilty to harassment in the court where she lives a year ago for harassing people. Now, when you plead guilty, you know that they had her by the balls. And I have people contact me all the time because she's snuck her way into their life through giving gifts. And before you know it, things go south. She can't control you, and it all goes downhill. I send a copy of her plea bargain to people once a month. She's a total dirtbag. She's a lying con artist. Her own family doesn't want to have anything to do with her. And that's from brothers and sisters to daughter-in-laws. And I can see why. Yeah. Same thing with Oxycontin Cat. Actually, I gave her a camera because I know she was starting out on YouTube. Huge mistake. Nothing but trouble. Philip tipped me off on her. I'd be down in Detroit. She'd be during the course of a YouTube channel, you get people's phone numbers and you're texting back and forth. During the course of the YouTube channel, somehow she had got a hold of Philip's email and was emailing him when I was down in Detroit, and she did it to other people too, that I was ignoring her when I was in Detroit. Now, I wasn't ignoring you. I was in Detroit and didn't feel it was necessary to contact you. So I can come up with a lot of examples of this similar type scenario, but it's not happening anymore. Not happening. I'll give you another example. She had a friend of hers that lives up near Flint. Another person that men don't find exactly attractive. And same thing. They start worming their way in through emails, text, want to send you money, donations. That's how it starts. And then what ends up happening in this case, she was worried for my safety. That I was down in these dangerous neighborhoods, and she wanted me to have a can of pepper spray. So she ordered a can of pepper spray. So I get it, it's really nice to her. Well, sometimes in Detroit, I don't know when I'm going down there. And she said, when are you going down to Detroit? It's like, I don't really know when I'm going down there again. And long story short, I think it was involved with either somebody's daughter came up missing, there was some kind of emergency, and somebody contacted me and said, hey, would you please go down to Detroit and look for so-and-so? We're really worried. Nobody's heard from her. It's like, yeah, well, I'll do it. So I headed out the next morning, and I looked for this girl. When I was down there, I did a live, and this fruitcake from up around Flint that sent the pepper spray says, I thought you weren't going down to Detroit. I said, really, I wasn't, but I got, a call. I'm trying to help somebody out. She said, I don't appreciate people that aren't being straight with me. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? She said, well, you said you weren't going down. It's like, you know what? I'm going to send your mace back to you, which I did, and don't call me anymore. I don't need to be accountable to you for anything. And I'm being a good guy by just going out and trying to help this family find this girl. I didn't plan on being to Detroit. I wasn't conning anyone. That's another example of a nut job. And again, fits the profile perfectly. Divorced, nobody wants to date her, hostile, lonely, and vindictive. Oh, thank you. So you can say, well, you're a big dumbass when it comes to just putting yourself out there and getting involved with people. I agree 100%. Totally agree with you. I put myself in that position. You're right. Totally true. And two, I don't want anybody sending me anything for any reason. I don't want any money. I don't want any gifts. I don't want anything to donate. Anybody that sends a treat for Daisy, I'm throwing it in the garbage. If you're a good person and you just like her and you want her to have something nice, I get it. Thank you. But I'm not taking the chance anymore with these crazies out there sending something my dog is going to eat. If you send it to me, I'm not even going to give it to wild animals. I'm going to throw it in the garbage. I don't want anything for Daisy. Yep. No, I don't want it. On the interviews, I mean, see, this is, these people are so stupid on the internet. If you have even an IQ around 70, this should ring a bell. I don't chase YouTube money. Just don't do it. If you go and you look at my videos, I'm reluctant to call them popular or successful because that's not what it is. I did something that interested me. I put it up on the internet and a bunch of people watched. My shitty videos aren't any better than the best ones that I ever did. Did I get lucky? You tell me. The point here is, if it was about money and views and subscribers, all I'd do is interviews. And I've backed off them because I don't care about the money. And all it seems to do is bring more problems. It isn't a bunch of good people trying to help someone in the rut. It's a bunch of weirdos, stalkers, judgmental idiots that go down and stalk people like Maddie and Gerald. I told you before, if I went down to Detroit and I could interview Maddie every day of the week and I'd get 5,000 views, just the way it is. Good, bad, who knows? But you know what? I don't do it. Why? First of all, what are we going to talk about? I've interviewed Maddie a ton of times and I'm happy to have done so. I'm glad that I know her. But what am we going to talk about? Nothing. So I don't interview her. And I haven't in months. Yeah, I appreciate it, Cindy. No, I appreciate it, but it's a learning curve. Look, this happens to people all the time in marriages and jobs. They move across the country. You're getting out of where you're at. It's a new beginning, and then you start this place, and you realize that the owner of the company is one of these type people, just a manipulative, psycho, troublemaking lunatic. And here you've uprooted, moved. It's cost you 10 grand to get there, and you've realized in about a month your boss is an Oxycontin cath. It happens all the time. It happens in marriages, through dating sites. You name it. Yeah, I've been very negligent. So I'm sure I'm going to not meet some good people in my life that I wish I had, but that's going to be a consequence of just cutting these people off. This last thing was the final straw. You got that right. Not happening. Yeah, it's how it is. But it's no more unfortunate or fortunate than any other facet of life. You see crazy things happen on TV. That's what sells newspapers all the time. It's just the way it is out there nowadays. Well, I'm glad I turned the air conditioning on. Daisy hates this weather. Oh, thank you, James. Come on, Daisy. I know you want to get out of here today. Come on, hon. See, I can tell. I mean, not that you need to have a PhD in science, but on a good day where the humidity's low, Daisy's dry by the time we get to town. She's dry, and that's only like an hour, mile and a half ride. Today she's soaking wet. She hasn't dried off at all. Humidity's super high, so it'll be a crappy day. Yep. Hey, and I appreciate the good people. I do. It doesn't seem like it the last few days because all I talk about is the stalkers. Come on. But I do appreciate the good people I've met. It's nice. Yeah, I've learned these lessons before, you know. You know what I mean? Hey, Simka. Come on, Daisy. Come on. Probably see some deer running. Come on, hon. Yep, it's just how it is. So no big deal. And besides, to be honest with you, I'm going to gear myself towards like, I'm going to do some like more legitimate movie things. I've been lazy about it. You know, like a mini documentary, professionally done. It takes a lot of time. I'll tell you, when you fool around, even on an amateur level like me, you learn a whole new appreciation for sound and video and interviews and lighting. And when I watch something, it's a new form of appreciation because I know what went into making it. My stuff's just run and gun, amateur bullshit, and I'm gonna slowly get away from that. I've been learning more on an editing program, and it's a lot to it. Yeah, it is hotter than hell today. I feel bad for this golf course. Who wants to golf in a day like today? Look at Daisy chasing a cat. See that cat that just took off? That cat was locked in my van for a solid week with the windows all the way up and temperatures in the 90s. No water, nothing. I was doing a bunch of stuff around my house and I was riding a bike. And I looked one day and I saw cat hair on the top of the dash. I went in there and this cat had been peeing, pooping for a week. It was locked in my van. Was under the seat crying. I let it out, and that's that cat right there. That was 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah, poor thing. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing though. There's lots of data on this you can read up on. Cats are way behind dogs as far as being domesticated. I mean, thousands of years, which is why they can still survive in the wild. A dog has been a part of man's companionship, and you can tell they can't survive in the wild. I'm not saying they don't do it here and there, but nothing like a cat. A cat is still like exhibits a lot of true wild behavior. They can can you imagine a dog trying to live outside in the winter in Michigan? Not happening. But cats can do it. They can feed themselves. I'll tell you, like that cat that just took off is beautiful. It's like a Persian something, blue eyes. It's a gorgeous animal. And nobody does a thing for him. Eats, sleeps, lives outside in the winter. That's hard to do. It lives just like a wild animal, even though it's a domesticated cat. No, that's how it is. Daisy either. Daisy could never like track down food all winter. She wouldn't last those little short legs in the snow. She'd be gone in no time. Hey, speaking of that, I just happened to be flipping through some channels on YouTube last night, and there's a lady. Ticks are a problem. They're a problem all the time, but I guess they're a bigger problem this year than they usually are. But there's a lady someplace that lives in a rural place. Although you're starting to be able to have more and more livestock in cities now. They're changing the zoning, but she had guinea hens. And evidently these things are experts at eating ticks. And they're beautiful birds. And it showed 2 or 3 of them just running around, just eating ticks left and right. And she said her dogs never get ticks.
Yeah, that's true. Most cats don't listen, but I'll tell you this. I was on a cruise one time, and of course it stopped in Mallory Pier in Key West. And there's a guy down there that played the bagpipes that wore a kilt. And he had these cats that he trained. And he had these cats trained. You wouldn't believe all the stuff they were doing. Jumping through flaming hoops and rolling over and all the things that dogs do. And I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. These cats were performing just like dogs. Oh, cats are smart. I was reading another thing the other day. I know this from just being out in the woods and really liking nature and reading a lot about it. The observational capabilities of wildlife is mind blowing. You don't get a clue because, like a bird, its facial expression doesn't change. But I just read an article the other day where they did magic tricks in front of birds, and they were unable to fake out any of them, which doesn't surprise me a bit. You watch deer, how they slowly figure out where it's okay to eat and where it's not. And the way that that happens is they inch themselves out over the course of X amount of time. And before you know it, they're looking around, eating, looking around. Before you know it, they're out in the middle of the expressway during rush hour eating. And you can't figure out why you don't see one during hunting season. That's why they figured it out. Birds do the same thing. I mean, it seems like a boring, bullshit, uninteresting clip that I took when I was up in Sault Ste. Marie. I took that little clip of those birds chirping. That's my favorite bird of all time, the starling. That's from Europe, by the way. Thank you, Philip. Starling is a genius. If it was up to me, that'd be our national bird. Look at all the trouble they went to keep birds from hanging out around the observation deck, not the old starling. They've laid eggs all over in between the needles that they'd stuck up that they thought they wouldn't be able to fit in between there. They're a genius bird. You'll never see a starling run into a window. They have huge balls. I've seen them fly. They'll do anything for their young. I mean, supercharged. I've been in rush hour traffic going through Atlanta. Busy, hotter than hell, and I've seen a starling just drop out of the air like a fighter jet, fit himself in between a semi-truck and a concrete median, pick up a piece of bread, fly straight up and get the hell out of there and go back and feed his young. They lay eggs on moving trains. Bald eagle, beautiful. I love watching them fly, but it's a sissy bird. You can look at one wrong and it'll fall off the branch. It looks like power and strength, and it's a bunch of horse shit. The starling is a 10 times tougher bird. Same thing with the cormorant or the ahinga in Florida where Simca lives. You talk about a animal that's evolved, that's impressive. You know, a bald eagle will most often drown when he gets his feathers wet. They will try and get on land if they can, but usually it's lights out under most circumstances. Look at an ahinga or a cormorant up here in Michigan. They swim around underwater at about 9 miles an hour, eat as many fish as they want, head up towards the surface, pop out, right out of the water from swimming, and start flying. That's pretty damn impressive. Crow is smart, ravens too. Well, they're related, the starling and the crow, but I'd take a starling over anything any day. I hate to see what a starling could do as a pet. They're super intelligent birds. You don't see any cats catching any starlings either. Oh, did you? Yeah, I mean, a starling is an impressive bird, but they do a lot of livestock damage. You wouldn't like a starling if you owned a. What are you doing, hon? If you owned a farm. They eat seed. You know, the farmers hate them. That's a federal offense too to kill one if they catch you. Except they don't really catch you very often. You know, you're throwing poison out there, and I remember Bush pardoned some people. They had a big rat problem up in Alaska, so they poisoned the rats, and the bald eagles ate the rats, and they got 20 years in prison. And they had spent like 10 years, and Bush pardoned them. I mean, it was an accident, but the message there was, you know, be prudent when you're killing, you know, rodents. This is what can happen. Yeah, cardinals are cool. There's one out here, two baby cardinals that kept coming out of the bush, fledglings. I kept putting them back up in the tree, and I ended up putting one in this bird feeder. I hope they made it. The good news is there's so much for cats to eat in the summertime that it's not as likely as it would be when it got cold. Of course, there are no baby birds when it's cold, but I hope they survived. See, if you see those white things over there, I'm not a cat guy, but I did pay to have 25 spayed and neutered. Wasn't that much, like $20 a piece or something. And part of the reason I did it is because I'm a bird lover. It's not because I'm in love with cats. But anyway, those are 3 winter houses for cats that the cat rescue gave me to set up, and they're still here. Those are 10 years old. There's some psycho probably calling me. Was stupid enough to give her my phone number. Who knows? Could have been 5 years ago. Yeah, turkey vultures haven't changed in about 140 million years. Super intelligent birds. I mean, they don't look any different now than when they first showed up on the earth. Turkey vultures are smart too. Down south, they have black-headed vultures, which look just the same. But it's pretty damn impressive what turkey vultures. They take a while to get off the ground. If you ever notice, there's food that they'll pass up on because they'll look down there and they know that I can get down there, but I can't get out, so they pass. They're super smart birds. Bald eagles are like that too. I've seen them pass on food because they're not going to let you corner them like that. You look at the wing design of birds. 2 examples of birds that can just get the hell out of nowhere. You could put them in a foot-by-foot box and they'll fly straight up for a little while and then level out and head out of there. A mallard duck and a pigeon. A bald eagle couldn't get out of a parking deck in Chicago. A pigeon does it every day of his life. You know, I'm a little worried. We've had a nesting pair of loons here for 20 years. Most people don't know it, but they separate for the winter. And the male's been here, and I haven't seen the female. I don't know anybody that's seen her nesting, but the perils of fatalities in migrating birds is super high. You know, when you're a little bird or even a big bird like a loon, you're covering everything's trying to kill you the whole way there, food, weather, you name it. You know, but I guess I'm a romanticist at heart. I want to see the loon make it, and I want to see her have babies, but it's not looking too good. I think the male may have taken off. It's odd that I wouldn't have seen him with this much time going by. Oh, that's interesting, Jolene. You know, I didn't know that. No kidding, huh? Hey, Johnner. Yeah, it's a beautiful day, although a real hot one. This is like the junk area of the back of a golf course. You know, where they throw all their tree limbs and stuff. I mean, it's still nice. The guy that owns it's a pretty good guy. This is where I take a lot of those infrared photos. It is a cool fact, isn't it? You know, I had 3,000 pairs of birds at one time. I had almost 7,000 birds at one time. 3,000 breeding pair, and then I always had scragglers or collections I bought. Huge nightmare. Big one of the, other than meeting these wacko women on YouTube, is probably the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. When I moved down to Florida, you know, I was building a house in my days. Building a house in Buena Vista. You know, I got lucky, man. I made more money in the 80s than I made now. I haven't made any money in 20 years. You know, back when, you know, you could like make a lot of money and not be smart or even that hard of a worker. It's just a different economy. But anyway, I get lucky. I sell this business to 2 employees. I finance it over a 10-year period. So I moved down, had a ton of money. Not crazy money, but like $1.2 million. Spread over time with $200,000 down. That was a lot of money in '92. So I went down there and was building this house. I sold it for $50,000 more than I was paying for it, and I never even moved into it. Anyway, we're standing there. I had to live in Kissimmee while the house was being built. Oh, wow, hon. Wow. Wow. And I had one of my pit bulls kill one of my birds. A bird, you know, 10,000 times that pit bull was next to that bird, and we were all outside, and there was no problem. And then one day, the bird hopped down on the ground. The pit bull went over there and grabbed it and killed it. So South Florida was a well-known breeding area for birds. That's where I have that place now. So I went down there to looking at birds, and I thought, man, this is really cool. These people here are breeding birds. I'd never heard of that before. And it was just about the time in '92 where CITES, CITES, which is an acronym, decided to not allow any more wild-caught imported birds. And I got the last group of Congo African greys. I got 500 of them from Guyana. And, set up a breeding facility. You get a vet, Susan Club. She's still down there. Anyway, long story short, never made a dime. Worked like my ass off. And it got to the point, it's just like meeting these women on YouTube. Like I'm saying, this isn't the only scenario of gloom and doom and failure. So I'm in about a couple months, and I'm thinking, man, this is bullshit. First of all, I'm lazy. But here's what really turned me off. Once again, just like a stalking lunatic female on YouTube, here's what I never considered. Just like Las Vegas never considered insuring Siegfried and Roy. You've got that's the biggest golden egg they ever lost in Las Vegas. But you know what? No one ever thought of insuring them. No one ever thought in a million years that one of the Tigers would damn near tear the head off one of their performers. So these are things that you don't think about. So here's what I never considered when I got into bird breeding, because I'm stupid in a lot of ways. I really am, big time. I had all the money I had invested in these, about 500 grand, which was like impossible for me because I'm a spender, not a saver. And I thought, well, I'm going to invest, the wild caught imports. They're dwindling. The prices of parrots are going to go up. I like being outside. And in my twisted, ignorant, stupid, low IQ brain, in a naive way, I thought that what I was going to do is provide a really good breeding facility to give quality chicks to pet shops. When you got them, they weren't going to be on their deathbed. They weren't going to have a virus or a bacteria that you didn't know about. I was just going to stand behind my word and supply the United States with exotic parrots. Well, I learned pretty soon after the first year, I'd put pet shop owners one notch below drug dealers. You'll never meet a bigger group of unsavory, crappy scammers in your life than people in the pet trade. You think puppy mills are bad? Wait till you get into dealing with birds on a big time level. Seriously, it was terrible. So I realized early on, I'm dealing with all these damn money laundering pet shops down around Miami, and it's one scumbag after another. You got to sue about a third of them to try to get paid. They go out of business. That's what I was looking at. So I just thought, screw it, man, I'm getting out of this. And I got out of it. And luckily, I knew other people who knew an eccentric, crazy lady that had inherited a railroad out west. And they wrote me a check for all of them. Bought them all at once. That couldn't happen again in a million years. And if you look up Loxahatchee, Florida, you'll find that when I was there, they're bird breeders. That's all Loxahatchee was exotic parrot breeders. And there's hardly any now. Susan Club's still down there, a sweetheart. Her husband left her. I don't know why. Good guy, Kevin. She's the vet for Parrot Jungle. Yes, Susan's a sweetheart. I don't know what happened. It's not my business. But I really liked her. And it's just now, that place was dirt roads when I moved down there. It was $10,000 an acre when I bought it. And now it's like 150 to 210,000 acres. So, I've fucked up big time in life before. And I'd like to tell you that, well, I researched real estate and I saw a trend and nobody else. It's absolute nonsense. It was an impulsive, crazy, irrational, illogical buy. And I took all the money that I should have kept for my future. Come here, Daisy. Come here, Daisy. Come here, hon. Come here, hon. Stay there. I took all the money I had. How you doing? I took all the money I had and I stuck it in a parrot breeding operation like a fucking idiot. But what I did do is because of setback requirements and noise. I thought I'd buy 20 acres so I didn't have problems with my squawking parrots and my neighbors. Stupid. Well, I got lucky. Anybody with any brains that was looking into the future, they would have never done that, and they didn't do that. So what did I do? I got 20 prime acres in an area that went crazy gonzo nuts, and I'll tell you, it was shit luck. That was 92 I bought that, or maybe the spring of 93, and it's worth an arm and a leg now, and it was just shit luck. It was like a scratch off. There are people there that stop by there once a week wanting to buy it, but my wife still lives there with her boyfriend, and they get, I guess life's good. I don't know. I don't care. So she could not afford my half. You know, the properties like went crazy dollar-wise, and she can't get a finance. She couldn't pay me my current equity out of it. So that's why I've never got divorced, which I'm fine with. I don't care. I got an idea. If I was a betting man, and I was in Las Vegas, I'd give you, come here, Daisy. Stay there, hon. Stay there, honey. Stay there, hon. Good girl. Good girl. Have a good day. If I was a betting man, I'll never see a dime from that place. Which I don't really care about, tell you the truth. I'm not really believe me, I was into money and stuff like that for a long time. So it's hard to believe being in a mental hospital for the whole month of June, 2 different mental hospitals. My 4-year anniversary is coming up next week. But like I told you earlier, a silver lining. There were good things that came up by me being locked up in a nut house. And that was one of them. It's 2 big things. I will never do anything for money again that I learned. I would never do it. Anything for money. And I'm not doing any fucked up shit. If you just took Jesus, which believe me, I have nothing in common with, right? If you just took Jesus and you made him into a real person and you took out the Son of God thing and you said, this is the way I want somebody to live and do the right thing, that's what I decided to do. No, I'm not lying about anything. If somebody doesn't charge me enough in a restaurant and I notice it, I'm paying for it. I'm not doing any fucked up bullshit. I'm 100% believer in karma. It's got nothing to do with religion. And if I get it broke off of my ass and I get dick cancer or 4-stage pancreatic cancer, I'll have the luxury of knowing that whatever it is that planned this exit strategy for me, that it wasn't because of some fucked up bullshit that I did. I wiped the slate clean. And that's why I do what I do. Yep. And even if I get fucked over, it's no problem. I have no problem with it. But I'm not doing any underhanded, immoral, fucked up bullshit. I'm not doing it. No way. If I could be the only goddamn guy you dropped off in Jeff Bezos's or Elon Musk's spaceship on Mars, and if I'm walking around up there with my oxygen tank and I find a gold coin there that's not mine, you're getting it back. Let me give you an example. Now, does this mean were you a big fucking crook before you got the place? No, I wasn't. But let me give you an example. A perfect example is using a metal detector. You know, if I was out in a metal detector and I'm out here fucking around and the thing goes off and, come here, hon, come over here. There's a robin's lays nest up here, and the thing goes off. So you're up there, and the thing goes off, and I find a bag of $500,000 gold coins. I'm turning it in. It's not my property. Those are not my coins. And now my thinking is I'd be happy to return these things to whoever owned them, even if it was heirs or the prior property owners, whatever. Where back then, I'd have kept them. 30 years ago, if I'd have found a wallet with $10,000 in it, they'd have got all the identifying stuff back in the credit cards, but they wouldn't have got the $10,000. That kind of shit. I'm not doing it anymore. Does that make me a better guy than the guy that's ripping off everybody blind? Maybe not. I don't know. But that's the way I decided to live my life. If I see a fucked up situation out there and you're a broke person and your dog gets hit by a car and you can't afford to have it fixed and I can do it anonymously and I've got the money to pay for it, I'm more than willing to do it. I don't think that makes me a better guy. I don't think it's going to get me to heaven, nothing. But that's just the way I decided to live the rest of my life. Yep, for sure. Yeah, Daisy loves to roll in the dirt. Yeah, and like I said, for all I know, that gets you 50 lashes and the gates of heaven. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, but that's just the way I'm going to do it. I don't want to be talking behind people's back. I don't want to be putting up and providing a platform for people to talk bad about people. Go through there. Most of my time on my YouTube channel, you think it's cash and checks. It's absolutely false. It's deleting nasty, rude, negative messages. No negative messages. If you see one on there, YouTube's system isn't perfect. Sometimes the messages don't come through. They don't. It's like you got ones you can hold, ones you can approve, ones you can delete, and every once in a while, there'll be some rotten message in there that I never approved, I never saw. They just slip in there somehow. So somebody will email me and they'll say, hey, somebody's talking about, so-and-so, and I'll go on there, sure as shit, it's been on there a year. I'll give you another example. Like in eBay, in YouTube, you can have like messages that are held for review. I'll go on there once in a while, and there'll be messages that are held for review that are 2 years old. So weird. Come here, Daisy. Come here, hon. Hey. Come here, honey. You ready to go inside? So crazy. Yeah, it's just, but, YouTube's been great for me. I mean, it doesn't seem like it the last few days. Still way, come on, hon. Still way better than it used to be. It gets better. I love eBay, man. You can't show me any other facet of a hobby that's even close to YouTube, where you can get in for free. And I do get paid from YouTube now, but, 2 years ago, I didn't get anything. And it gets better and better every month. I don't do anything different. So I take my YouTube money and I give it away. I do pay my expenses out of it, which is more than I ever thought that I would get. And I'm not even counting my time or my computers or my cameras because it's a hobby. So when, some of the women I've interviewed need rent money, come on, hon, you're in jail and you're not getting out for 6 months and you need money, and no problem. Do I think I'm a good guy for doing that? I don't, because it's just money. It'd be like you getting a check for vacation someplace and then you found out someone was in need and you take that money somebody paid you to go on vacation and you give it away. Who wouldn't? It's not like I'm working some job I can't stand and that's the money I'm using. I'm not. So come on, hon. It's like free money to me. Yep. Anybody, and it's the whole scheme of things. If you crunched all the numbers from the beginning of YouTube to now, I'm still in the hole, which I'm fine with. But when people, and I don't interview you based on if you get 1 million views or if you get none. I interview everybody. If you get views, great. If you don't, that's good too. That's not why I interviewed you. So everything's good. Everything's really good. Wanna go Betty, hon? Wanna go Betty? No, she's still wet. A little bit, but she's still wet. Now it's super humid today. I mean, this is the worst day we've had. This is the worst we've had. Oh, thanks. Yeah, the abandoned building, those days are long gone. That, like I said before, that was a finite time of Detroit. It was at its worst. The morale was bad in the police departments. They weren't enforcing the laws, but now it's not like that anymore. All those places are locked and buttoned up. There's only one place I know you can get into now. Like I said, if they catch you there, you're getting charged with a misdemeanor, which I said a criminal record is a problem, even on a low level crime. Oh, look, there's a S-76 Sikorsky helicopter. So you're not going to see, you're going to see little abandoned buildings like when I'm on my way down south or out west, but you're not going to see these big inside of these factories. See, here's another, just a little indication on the difference up here than a lot of places. You see that little brown thing out in the field? That's where I set my GoPro camera to do time lapses. Now, those lots went back to the city on a tax foreclosure, and the city has to cut them. They're deed restricted. You can only have a cemetery there or build condos that look like these. Well, nobody wants to do that anymore, so the city's stuck with those lots. And here the guy came in the grass. He saw my trash can there. That's where I set my camera. Instead of just throwing it out in the garbage like they do in Detroit, he got off his mower, moved it over, cut that patch, and then put the garbage can back there because he'd probably seen a camera on it before. Seems like a little thing. It's not. It's a big thing. It was a considerate person that decided not to be a jerk, that took 2 minutes out of his day to just let bygones be bygones. That's why I like living up here. Yep. Yeah, I love traveling. You know, I think this is why I like doing it. I think it's a distraction from being depressed. My dad was like that too, although he was cheap, so he never went very far. But I think when I'm taking photos and videos and I'm, paying attention to where I'm going down the road and I never know what's going to be around the next corner, that's like a reprieve from idle thought. I know there's some kind of connection there. I mean, they may not be articulating it properly, but that'd be my guess, because you could say, and you'd be right, that I'm obsessed with photos and video. I would agree with you. And I know this because I can be dead tired and still come home and sometimes I'll go to bed, like a long trip. I'll come back and I got this video on my SD cards, and I'll lay down to bed and I'm so excited about what I videotaped. It could be just like bees in a hive or something. I'll just get a jolt energy. I'll get up, I'll download my videos, and then I'll upload them to YouTube. Before you know it, the sun's coming up. Like, I've stayed up all night long for 2 weeks, and it's all this obsession with putting this out there. I can't really tell you exactly why. It's just a stab in the dark, but I don't have that. I don't do anything else like I do my YouTube videos. Nothing, not even close. If I worked out like I did my YouTube stuff, I'd look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm totally obsessed and motivated by photos, videos, and YouTube and uploading. Swear to God, it's my whole life. And I'm happy for it, other than the stalkers. But now that I'm cutting that out and I'm not going to get to know people like that on a personal level, it should only get better. Oh, really? Yeah, I think it does mean, yeah, it's definitely my passion. I never really had one till YouTube. I mean, I always did do a lot of photos. I did. Even as a kid, I was running around with the camera. I actually sold photos professionally for a while, believe it or not. The stuff I do now is run and gun, fucking around, taking photos out my window while I'm driving. I tell people that I don't, the real world is not a studio. My color's off, it's not properly framed, but what I lack in quality, I make up in quantity. So I figure if you just hold your finger down long enough on the button, one of them is bound to look right. And that's my approach. I'm out there, I take my photos, and I get the hell out of Dodge. You're never going to see me out there walking around a daffodil for 12 hours trying to get the right shot. Not happening. Nope. Yeah, we beast, but I'll tell you what has happened to me before. Like, I don't want to like be doing like negative shit. I don't think it's fair to like. I'll give you an example. Like, if you look at my older videos, even when I interviewed working girls, I didn't know shit from Shinola. I mean, I knew that girls were prostitutes, and I knew they had drug problems and stuff like that. And at the beginning, I thought, well, I'm one of the. I'm going to go out and get the raw, nitty gritty, right from the horse's mouth truth. And I'd ask everything from soup to nuts. How much is a blowjob? What's around the world? And I look back at some of my early interviews, and I'm thinking I'm going to be this Geraldo Rivera, get the truth. And really, what it was is just inappropriate questioning. It was honest, but I look back and I would never do that kind of interview anymore. I don't want to make anybody look unfavorable, even if they're a working girl. And the same goes with, I used to go into restaurants or towns and I'd drive through there. It's like, this place is a fucking dump. This place sucks. Who wants to live here? I don't blame you for moving. I don't do that anymore. If I don't have something good to say, I keep my mouth shut. And I've had people from small towns contact me and just say, hey, motherfucker, you drove through our town and all you did was drive around the shitty areas and you made our place look like a dump. And we're trying to attract people from other parts of the country. Either could you please come back and go to the other parts of town or take that video down? And I took the video down because I thought, you know what, you're right. Especially in this day's world. Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have done that. So I don't do it anymore. Yep. Just Miss Jamie, they just had the Lilac Festival here last week over near Dolly. Yep. Yeah, there are some good. I'll give you an example of people talking about you when you're long gone. It's called, and I could be a little off, but you'll figure it out. I think Larry Flies. When Larry Flies, there's a video up there, and I followed him when he first started. I've always had an interest in aviation. Long story short, he got diagnosed with a terminal illness and ended up shooting himself because he didn't want to go through the chemotherapy and the prognosis was bad. But if you look at his videos, they're still up. It's Larry Flies. He did little like helicopter type things, little home built helicopters. And when I go back there from time to time just to read the comments, and it's really cool how he's been dead for this long and people are still enjoying his content. I mean, it really is thought provoking. Yeah, look it up. When Larry Flies, you'll really appreciate it. Just a really sharp guy. I found out later, talking to a neighbor, believe it or not, because I'd wondered what happened to him. All of a sudden, one day he wasn't posting. And as it turns out, he ended up being a mail order independent distributor for Radio Shack. He was like an electronics buff. And he ended up making just a killing. So he bought that place, I think it was in Oregon. And all he did was mess around. Neighbors liked him. All he did was build these little helicopters. He put a turbine engine on one, a home-built helicopter. It's really cool. Larry Flies. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll find it and I'll send you a link. But yeah, it's kind of cool, man. There's still videos. That's another thing I worry about. I don't worry about it, but what's going to happen with, when are they going to draw the line in the sand on what videos stay up and which ones don't? I'm sure there's going to be a thing in YouTube someday where you're going to have to verify your channel just like you do with the Google number or something. And if there isn't someone that has your code that's able to do that, your channel is going to get deleted. I fully expect that in my lifetime, could happen any day, that it's just around the corner that, I go to the airport and rather than get hassled by airport police, I just pay for, ridiculous short-term parking. And I go up there and take pictures of the planes landing and taking off for video. I get an idea that any day they're going to come up to me and they're going to say, hey, you're not allowed to take photographs from the parking lot. It's like, why not? It's like, well, we don't need to tell you why, but I'm going to anyway because it just gives people the chills. They see this big long thing. They don't know it's a camera that might be a gun. And we want our passengers, when they park their vehicles, to be as comfortable as possible. And this isn't a photography platform. It's a parking lot for people that are getting ready to fly. And we just don't want you around here anymore. And that would be perfectly legal for them to do. I think that's coming. I think it's coming. I do. You know, there was a time a year and a half ago or so where I was up there in this COVID stuff, nobody up there. And I've got one lens, and when I have a tele-extender on it, I mean, the thing's about 2 feet long. It's a big, looks like a bazooka. So, you know, you've got people that are really interested in helping, and you've got people under the ruse of helping that like to see somebody get in trouble, making phone calls to the police, even though they know damn well you're taking pictures of airplanes. You know that type personality. So, out of a courtesy, I call the cops and I say, "Hey, I just thought I'd let you know I'm up here taking photos. I've got this long lens. I don't want somebody to get freaked out. And here's my license plate number, and here's my phone number, and I'll be up here for a couple hours." And he'll say, "Well, could you hang on for a second?" It's like, "Yeah, sure." He comes back. He said, "We'd like to have you leave." It's like, "Why is that?" And he said, "Well, you know, COVID." I said, "There's nobody up here other than about 5 other photographers." He said, "Well, we just don't want people here that don't have a business reason to be here, so please leave." So I left. And the other 5 guys with cameras that never wanted to be courteous and to let them know they're up there and give them contact information, they kept taking pictures for who knows how long. I was the only guy asked to leave because I tried to be courteous. So that's where the world's going in a lot of ways. It's getting that way with train tracks too. Yep. If you're not in a car going over a train track, you're subject to getting nailed for trespassing because it is private property, blah, blah, blah. But it's getting there with trains too. If they see you on a hill taking pictures of trains now because you like trains, expect to be questioned by the cops. It's just the way things are going. Yep. It's a hot one today, I'll tell you that. Yeah, I'm half Irish, yep. Half Irish, yep. Supposedly. I tend to believe it's true because I got a lot of sun damage. That's another thing. You know, if you live long enough, the things that you saved yourself for when you were young don't really matter that much anymore. That's where I'm at right now in life. You know, when you're 21 and you're a guy and you think it's going to cost you a piece of ass because you look older than you should because you never wore sunscreen, you're going to wear sunscreen. Hell, you don't want that happening. It's hard enough to get a piece of ass when you're young. So you do all these things. You wear sunscreen, you hydrate yourself, you take a vitamin. You want to live a long, healthy life. But once you get to the end of the road like I did, is there really much difference between a 65-year-old guy with good skin and one that doesn't have good skin? No, not really. I've got to where I'm at now, and from 65 till the day I die, I don't think having good skin or bad skin really matters much. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Really doesn't. Yeah. I mean, I do tell people all the time, you know, you should protect your skin, but I mean, I'm really kind of half-assed about it now that I've gotten older. I'll be 82, and it's like, God, Tom, man, way to go, man. You really wore your sunscreen your whole life. Doesn't happen that way. Oh, Lebanese. Oh, okay. Yeah, possums eat a lot of ticks. They sure do. Yep. Yeah, I don't give a shit anymore. It's like an old boat. Do you think when a shrimp boat pulls up to the dock and it's 80 years old and he runs into the side of the pole where he's going to tie the rope, you think he gives a flying shit? Just another scratch of character on the hull of that boat. But if you got a brand new one you just bought and you don't have your first scratch on it yet, you know, you've got 6 migrant workers with pillows waiting for you to dock so you don't put that first scratch on that new boat. Oh, Italian and Irish. Did you get the dark skin or the light skin? No, you're right about that, Nellie. Yeah, Scotland. My dad was Scotch. You know the old joke amongst the Scots, don't take this personally, but you can always tell if someone's Scotch, especially if they're male. They pee in the sink and dry their hands on the curtains. Have you ever heard that? Oh, I believe that, Jana. I believe that, yeah. I mean, it's logical. It's logical. You read studies on that, though, it still takes big balls to kill yourself, no matter what the circumstances are. Like I discussed the other day, any living creature, from a virus to a piece of bacteria to a dog, a rat, a bird, a snake, everything that's brought into this world that's living will do anything at all costs to keep from having its life end. They try to get away, they fight, from humans all the way down to animals. Why? So even though you've got a terminal disease, nobody really knows what's on the other side. My guess is nothing. It's like going to sleep at night and you never wake up. That's what I think. I don't think I'm going to be up there square dancing with Jesus and the Virgin Mary. I don't think Daisy's going to be there either. I hope I'm wrong. Oh, you're Russian, Susan? Okay. See, now today is a perfect cloud time-lapse day. Just set the camera out there, push the on button. Your battery life will be a little lower because of it's hot. But today's a perfect climb lapse. I shouldn't say perfect because the clouds are very slow today. The perfect cloud lapse, time-lapse cloud video, it's when it's windy and the clouds like these are really hauling ass. Yeah. Russian, there's a lot of jokes on Russian mail order brides. But here's another thing, everybody gets biased, whether it's through research you do, whether it's being force-fed stuff in the media, whether it's a book you read in the 6th grade. You get influenced by things whether you like it or not. And here's a perfect example. If you said, Tom, there's a guy on your YouTube channel that really likes you. He's worth $100 billion. And he's going to give you 2 things in his trust fund because he thinks you're a good guy. One of them is $1 billion, and the other one is a mail order bride. And it's either going to be from Asia or it's going to be from Russia. And that's the only choice you have to make. You're getting $1 billion either way. What's your answer? It's like Asia. And he said, could you explain why? It's like, yeah, we'll explain why. First of all, in general, now there are exceptions. I think the Russian women that I see through different things, like that one group on YouTube that sings Chicago songs, that woman is so unbelievably beautiful. I maybe have had that happen 1 or 2 times in my life where I've seen someone so strikingly beautiful. It doesn't even look real. She's one of them. She's the singer. That Leonoid or whatever their name is, they do Chicago songs, Russians. And I do think overall, I'll get my ass handed to me for this. Overall, I'm talking about large numbers. If you gave me 10,000 Asian women and 10,000 Russian, I think that out of the 10,000 Russian women, there would be just some women in there that were just like this girl I just explained, just super gorgeous. But when you look at the personality in general of the other 10,000, even though the Asian woman wouldn't be maybe as attractive, I would go with what I know of their personality as opposed to the Russian. In other words, I want to wake up in the morning and still have my head attached. And I guess I've been influenced enough in my life to read a lot of stories about Russian mail order brides and finding the old husband like me cut up into little pieces, where when I look at the Asians, it's happily ever after. So I could be totally wrong. I could have totally bought into this and they could have been selective stories, but nevertheless, I've been influenced by what's been presented to me, and I may be making a bad choice because of the only information I had access to. This is how life is with everything, from a spouse to a car to a dog to the kind of birdseed you buy. I only can do with what I know. That's it. Yeah, he did. They did find a flume. Yeah, he did. Yep, he did. That was a, as it turned out, that was a drunk guy that almost got run over by a train. Yes, he found his phone. Actually, if you look at my video, that was him out looking for it. But I couldn't believe that he didn't come up to me and say, "Did you find a phone here?" So I just assumed he was looking for rocks or something. Yeah, thank you, Susan. Yeah, that's my whole point. You see what I mean? Yeah, I know, but I know it's crazy thinking, and it's probably totally false. But sometimes it's like when I moved to Florida. It's like, well, why would you move to Florida? I'll tell you why. Well, I want to breed birds. I can go down the ocean. There's a lot of wildlife. I didn't think there's a lot of crime. Every loser in the world moves there. The drug trade is nuts. The traffic is ridiculous, and that my balls would be welded to my leg 10 months out of the year because of high humidity and temperatures. I didn't think of that. I thought your mind tricks you. I thought just drinking pina coladas and watching the sunrise was what was going to happen. I didn't really sit down and crunch why I did it. It was a spontaneous, obsessive, impulsive, stupid move, which I'm famous for. Yeah. You think that about close to your mother? I'm biased. Well, you guys, I think I'm going to sign off here for the day. Maybe I'll be on later. I've got to go through, organize some of my stalker recordings. Some of the lunatic emails I get, crazy text. All you nutty women out there, the other 90 people that are out there that aren't saying a peep, you know who I'm talking about, you. Just keep it up, and your recorded conversation is going to let the world know what you're really like. Copies you're going to text are going to show that you're nuts. Your voicemail's even crazier, and your emails, your communications, it just reeks desperation. I have it all on file. There's one way to make this all go away, and that is to take down these lying videos about me. Quit making slanderous, libelous comments, and I won't upload them. That's the deal that I offer you. It's not going to get any better than that. I'm never going to be friends with you. I don't want any communication with you. The best deal that I can offer you is what I said, is not uploading what I have. But I will if I have to. So as I peruse the internet and I search Chosen One, and I see what you've said about me and the things that you've made up, if your name's attached to that on that ID and I know who you are, and I don't just know who you are because of my relationship with you along the way. It's from people that don't like you that have contacted me. You are going to be exposed. I can't put it any nicer way. If you're a nice person, we've had great, rich, fulfilling conversations. You don't have anything to worry about. If you told me something in confidence, that's where it's going to stay. I'll go to my death not breathing a word about it to anybody, I promise you. But if you're talking bad about drug addicts, you're a two-faced, stalking lunatic. I've got communication that's going to put you in the proper limelight, and that is showing that you're nuts. And I'm more than happy to do it. That's the way it's going to be. Yep. Hey, Debbie and Dave. Sorry, here's At night, if in the daytime, I got to have the illumination on my phone all the way up. You can't read the screen. And at nighttime, it's too bright. Well, I went ahead and turned on the live today before I did that. So I can't see a lot of these comments. So it's not like I'm blowing you off. I can't see the screen. I can like barely see it. Bye, Daisy. I can see that. Yeah. And Debbie and Dave, Blue Malibu, you guys have been the other side of stalking. It's been a pleasure knowing you. You've done a great job. You've helped me. I'm a better person for crossing paths with you. Thank you. Faye, Dolly, Mary, really, I can't express adequately how fortunate I've been to get to know you people. So there's a big upside to YouTube. Same with you, Frisky. And it means a lot to me, and I thank you for it. So have a good day, you guys. Yeah. Yeah, have a good day. Yep, see you later.